right, welcome back to Life According to Richard and Sam. I'm Richard.
I'm Sam.
And today we're going to talk about some sports. This is definitely Sam's forte here because I like sports. I'm a sports guy, played sports in high school, but I am not all season sports guy.
I am.
No way am I.
Yeah. I pretty much, if I have any downtime and there's sports on and I'm not like in the middle of the show, like right now, since there aren't a lot of sports going on, I've been devoting my time to watching Naruto for the first time. Great show. But usually if there are sports on, I'll probably put it on and just watch it. Like literally could be anything. Like I know with our campus like TV plan that the whole campus has, we get the cricket channel, so I've watched cricket a couple times.
Oh wow.
Really confusing. Probably one of the few sports I've been confused by watching. But I'm really looking forward to that. Most of the sports have bounce back plans due to coronavirus and or have plans because their seasons haven't started yet. So
Right.
Yeah.
Before we dive in, let me know how you're doing, Sam.
I'm doing good. 4th of July weekend was good. Got to see some friends. Got very sunburnt on my shoulders.
Did you lose any fingers?
No,
Oh, that's good.
we did Roman candles, and that was about it. And they were the really tiny ones. So,
Okay.
Yeah, but I'm usually pretty good at keeping my fingers, or at least I have a 100% track record of keeping my fingers so far.
That's great.
Yeah. What about you? Did you lose any fingers, Richard?
No, I didn't. I had a very unorthodox 4th of July because my dad, he has a bunch of land up north.
Mm-hmm.
He's got like 20 acres or something like that. He's planning on starting a homestead.
Oh.
Yeah. So right now he's, clearing some area, getting the grass cut because it's, all chest height right now.
Yeah, that would be a problem.
Cutting some trees down. So I used a chainsaw for the first time this weekend. And yeah, that's what I did, basically. That's about all we did. Cut down some trees.
Speaking of chainsaws, Timber Sports, fantastic. I saw it live once at German Fest last year. We were just there I was hanging out with some friends, and it was just there. We went and watched. It was the coolest thing ever.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I guess I've seen like little clips of that stuff, but it's only been like meme context.
Yeah.
So I haven't watched it for real, but yeah, that sounds awesome.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Other than that though, I've been chilling down at my dad's because my older sibling, so I was house sitting for my dad while he's gone. And my older sibling, who, I live with, got symptoms for coronavirus, but they don't really leave the house. So it's, so to be safe, I've been, crashing at my dad's. I haven't had any symptoms, and it's almost been 2 weeks now, so I should be in the clear.
Yeah.
In terms of contact and all that. And we still haven't heard back on their test. So I think we're supposed to hear back tomorrow because that's 7 days.
Yeah.
Because they say 2 to 7 days.
I think that's, because I had some friends in Milwaukee that had to get tested because someone they were in contact with was in contact with someone who had COVID. And they got their test back in 5 days, I want to say. So.
Okay. Yeah, but my dad came home from work today with a letter that said someone who you've been working with has coronavirus.
Oh.
Get tested. So now I'm like actually quarantined.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which, great.
Well, I hope everything's all good. I hope you or your dad and your cousins, right?
Older sibling.
Older siblings. Okay, I got confused. I hope all of you don't have it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I doubt we do, but gotta be safe.
Yeah.
And it's totally understandable. I saw the other day a Broadway actor, 42, died of coronavirus complications.
Yeah, I saw that.
Very sad.
Yeah.
And as far as I know, he was healthy too, so it's just really scary.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, we'll be all right. Get through it, figure it out.
Well, on to some more cheery topics. So I'll have you start, since I have a idea of what you're going to be excited about coming back or starting during all of this based on our past interactions due to sports. So I'll let you go first, Richard.
All right. So as I said, I am not. I don't watch a lot of sports in terms of sports, whatever.
Yeah.
But I love football. That's what I watch. I got to watch all the football I can. Go Lions! One pride.
I'm so disappointed.
Oh, shut up.
I understand why, but still.
Aren't you the guy that likes underdogs? Come on.
I do like underdogs, and I do like the Lions for one reason only. I love Matt Patricia, the Lions head coach. I love him so much. He's just a very funny guy and really good meme material when it comes to sports. So
he is the pirate himself.
Real football guy.
Oh yeah. But yeah, I've kind of been not really paying attention just because time's flying by. But
yeah.
I don't think the NFL has a comeback plan really right now, do they?
I think they're just as scheduled, but I don't think they're going to have fans. Like, I think they're planning to not have fans, but it'll just be NFL as schedule. I don't know. I haven't really heard. NFL is a sport that I've heard the least amount, mainly because it hasn't really gotten around to their season yet.
Right.
And like with the other two,
I mean, we only got a month.
Yeah, and with the other two big ones, like baseball and basketball, they're planning on a restart. So I think they're taking more of the forefront with a lot of the news than football is.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure. This last kind of like sports cycle, I guess you can say, I kind of got a little bit into the basketball. So I was kind of looking forward to the return of that, just to, I don't know, kind of develop a, interest in it.
So for basketball, I have to ask this, Pistons, or I'm assuming Bucks, or another team?
Okay. So for everybody who doesn't know, I was born in Detroit, pretty much raised most of my life there. And so I gotta stick with the home team here. I gotta stick with them. I know the Pistons suck, and so do the Lions.
They're not that bad. They're better than the Tigers and the Lions. Okay,
yeah. Well, I don't know if you noticed this, but I'm kind of thinking only two Detroit sports can be good at the same time.
What's the other one? If the Pistons are objectively good.
See, but that's kind of like the weird thing right now. They're all pretty much about even, so they like level out. So they're all like okay teams.
I think, being honest, no offense, but giving the Tigers an okay moniker is an extremely generous take.
What was their record?
They were last in the MLB and probably will be again. Like historically bad last year.
I think the Red Wings also sucked, so maybe like not as bad. So I don't know. My biggest evidence of this is 2008. Red Wings won the Stanley Cup.
Mm-hmm.
Tigers were pretty good.
Yeah.
And the Pistons and the Lions were terrible.
08 Pistons were okay. I wouldn't say terrible. Wasn't 08 the 0-16 season?
Yes, for the Lions, yeah.
Okay, yeah. Yeah. Well, I do have to say the Lions are probably in one of the tougher divisions in football. So
I don't know. I wouldn't give the Packers that much credit.
All right, buddy. You're talking to a 13-3 team that has under a first-year coach. Let's calm down there.
Oh, okay.
I mean, who else is? It's like us and the Vikings, and then the Bears are good, but they're not like that next level.
We'll agree to disagree right now.
Okay.
Carry on. But in terms of sports seasons, I also was kind of looking forward to golf because I also got into golf, and that's why I like want to get into golf, like actually playing golf.
Golf's back, baby.
Okay. I didn't actually know that, to be honest. I don't really watch
golf and
TV.
Soccer are both back. That's why I've been living life, because both my two favorite sports, or at least my golf's one of my favorite sports, and then my favorite league in soccer is back. So.
Okay. Actually, I do remember watching golf not that long ago.
Yeah. Bryson DeChambeau just won the last tournament last weekend.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, but what are your what are you looking forward?
Mainly baseball. Like, I love watching football. I'm excited for basically all of the major sports to come back, just because it's something to watch.
Right.
Baseball, I'm excited for because there's a lot of good young teams that'll get their chance, even though it is like a 60-game season. The Brewers are going to be okay. The Tigers have a very long way to go, if I'm being honest. Like, I'm not trying to throw shade or anything, but they just have a very long way to go.
I don't watch baseball. It's okay.
Yeah.
I don't care.
The White Sox, which is my second favorite baseball team, look extremely good this year. So that's exciting. And then basketball, like, Bucks were arguably the best team in the NBA, had the best record in basketball. Have Giannis back because before the lockdown and the shutdown, Giannis would have been out for a couple weeks with an injury. So it's nice to have him back.
Oh.
It'll be nice having him back. Basketball is the one I'm interested to see the most about, how that's going to play out with their whole plan.
So how's like, well, I mean, basketball is a lot of contact and baseball is less, but there's still, some contact there, within 6 feet for a lot of guys, So how's that?
Yeah, well, with soccer, they've kind of thrown the 6 foot thing to the wayside.
No, I'm sure.
Because there's a lot of contact in soccer. But basketball, I'm just more interested to see how they're going to do outside of the games.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's going to be a huge skeleton crew during the games. Like, it's really just going to be the players, the coaches, and security and medical staff, and that'll be about it. Maybe some announcers or something.
Yeah.
But I don't know if you've heard this, but their plan is to have a good majority of the teams that were fighting for playoff spots or in playoff spots just in 3 different hotels in Orlando for 2 months.
Oh.
And they can't leave that bubble of the hotels and the stadiums and the arenas. So I'm excited to see how that's going to work out, because the players can't leave, but I'm assuming the hotel wait staff and food staff are going to have to be there to deliver food and stuff and get that all set.
I mean, they got a lot of money pumping into sports, so they probably hire their own or but
even then,
delivery.
I don't think they're gonna. I don't think they'd have enough room for. I think it's something 20, 15-man rosters, or there might be even 20-man rosters, plus coaches, medical staff, security, and then also all of those other staff members in those 3 hotels. So it'll be interesting. I honestly think basketball has the best chance of not happening. Because a lot of the players are declining to go for personal reasons, they don't feel safe, or they want to spend time with their families, because their families aren't going to be there with them. They're going to be away from if they have wife and kids, away from their wife and kids for a month and a half to 2 months.
Right. Yeah.
So I'm interested to see that. I'm really excited for college football if that does happen, because I love watching college football.
I doubt that's going to happen because colleges are so up in the air right now.
Yeah.
For their whole student, the whole student body, let alone getting the sports together.
But then again, it is colleges, and they do need that sports revenue, especially those big D1 schools, and they do put sports ahead of everything else most of the time.
Oh, I guess they could just hey, call them up. Hey, you got the scholarship. We need you to come here and play now.
Yeah, or hey, everybody else we're still going to be online for classes, but you're going to be on campus because you got to play sports.
Right.
So, but they might do that.
You're also online.
Yeah, it's you're still going to be online in the dorm or your house or whatever, your apartment, but you're going to be playing sports for us and doing all that. But other than that, really the sports that I was excited for came back already. Soccer's pretty much back. Although the season's getting kind of close to ending for most of the leagues because like they were pretty close anyways before the end, like before the lockdowns across the globe.
Right.
So most of the leagues are closing, like getting towards the end. Like in England and Germany, both of their champions have already been decided. So yeah, so I might as well just jump into what's going on in sports already. So like I said, golf's back. I think really golf got its start back with the Tiger Phil the Match Part 2, because they did one last year where it was just them facing off 18 holes and the winner got like $1 million or something. But this time it was Tiger v. Phil, but on Tiger's team it was Peyton Manning, and then on Phil's team it was Tom Brady. And all of like the proceeds and stuff went to COVID relief.
Right. I forgot. I remember seeing ads for that.
Yeah, Tiger and Peyton kind of ran away with it because Tom did not have a good day on the course whatsoever. But now golf's back. It's been kind of interesting because I haven't seen a lot of the big name players in these first couple tournaments. Like, I don't think Tiger or Phil have played in any of them yet. Not like either of them need the money for it.
Yeah.
I haven't seen. I think Ricky and Rory have both started playing now. They might all be back. I haven't really been paying that close of attention to golf, but it's really weird because it's just like them and their caddies, no one else on the course. It's just like the pairings, and then it's like 4 people pretty much on each hole, like 6 people depending on how many. I think it'd be 6 because there's like 3-person pairings, so it's like 3 players and they're 3 caddies, and that's about it. And like being honest, I'm kind of surprised golf even stopped. Like they could have just kept going without fans, because golf is a great social distancing like sport, because you're like, even like for amateurs and like us, it's like even if you're with friends, like you can easily distance yourselves and you might not even like come really close to each other that much. So
yeah, I mean, just have to really enforce it and make sure players follow it.
Yeah, like I think a lot of courses have been great with stuff like that, like putting cutout pieces of pool noodles in the hole so you don't have to like dig your hand down in there, like turning the cups upside down so it just hits it and bounces off. Yeah, there's been a lot of ingenious stuff going on, like a lot of them, like you can't pull the flag stick out, that's just less contact and things like that. So
right, I think a lot of the whole world kind of stopped when it was like, this is here, Yeah.
I
think that's what attributed to, all the stoppage was just like, hold on, freeze, everybody stop,
Yeah. Thank Rudy Gobert for that. Because I'm extremely convinced that there wouldn't have been as quick a reaction. Like, there still could have been a quicker one. But looking back on it, but as quick a reaction if he didn't test positive. And there wasn't that whole like, because like it was still like, oh, is this going to hit us hard? Because we hadn't had a lot of cases at that point. We're like, oh, is this going to hit us hard? What's this going to be like? This is like what other countries are like. And then Rudy Gobert got hit, and it's like, oh, it's hitting the celebrities too. And like, especially a celebrity that was playing in the U.S. and got a bunch of his teammates sick. So
yeah,
I think that was a big part of people like, oh, this is really happening. Or at least some people were like, oh, this is really happening.
Yeah. Definitely.
Just to quickly touch on soccer in England, there's a lot of stuff going on underneath the first, like the champion team. Like Liverpool won the league this year. It's their first time in like, I don't know how long. And then Man City's playing for a top 4 spot, even though they're banned from Champions League play for fair play rules because they spent too much money on players. And then pretty much the next 6 teams are all fighting for like 5 spots.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Liverpool hadn't won the league since the 98-99 season. So it's been quite some time.
Wow.
And then in Germany,
I feel that pain though, as a Lions fan.
Yeah. Well, Liverpool has always been like one of the, in recent years, it's become a big 6, with like the resurgence, like Man City getting all this money, Tottenham playing well, even though we're doing horrible this season. But usually it's been a top 4. It's just like Liverpool, Man United, Chelsea, and Arsenal. And that's been kind of the top four for now. I just want to make sure I'm not forgetting anybody that some people will be upset about. Well, I'm looking this up. In Germany, Bayern Munich won again. This has been their 8th consecutive championship in a row. So the German league isn't that competitive. Like, they have some good teams like Bayern Munich, Dortmund, Bayer Leverkusen, and then Schalke is usually pretty good. They've had a down season this year, but Bayern has won the league 8 years in a row. And then in Italy hasn't decided its champion yet. I think Juventus and Lazio are top of the league right now. Yeah, it's Juventus, Lazio, Inter Milan, Atalanta, and Milan. Regular AC Milan are their top 5 teams. Italy's usually pretty competitive underneath Juventus. Like, I think Juventus has won the league like 6 or 7 times in a row. But the only other sport I can think of is Korean and Japanese league baseball. Because like for a while there, that was the only thing going on. So like people were watching the KBL and the JBL, or is it KBO? I think it might be KBO, and the JBL. But yeah, so that's kind of what's going on in sports right now. It's a little quick recap.
All righty, let's take a break. And we're back. Sam got into soccer towards the end of that last section right there, before the break.
Yeah.
But let's kind of talk about some highlights that have been going on and happening in sports right now. Like, what's happening right now? Like, did you see Patrick Mahomes' new contract?
Yeah, I think he's very deserving of it. Probably the best quarterback I've seen play, or will be at some point. I think he's got a ways to go before being like the greatest quarterback of all time. But boy, is he looking promising towards that.
Yeah, like, I think he's amazing. What's that dude's name? He needs, what, Kurt Warner? Is that who I'm thinking of? Yeah. Patrick Mahomes needs like a Kurt Warner playing for the Cardinals mentor. I don't know if you're aware of that? Like,
yeah.
Towards the end of his career, he was playing for the Cardinals, but he was like too old, and he was really kind of more of like a quarterback coach.
Yeah.
Patrick Mahomes needs a guy like that.
I don't know if you know this, but I'm a very big Larry Fitzgerald fan. I think he's probably my favorite wide receiver to ever play in the NFL. So, used to be a big Cardinals guy back in the day. But yeah, I think I don't even know if he needs that, because Andy Reid is one of the greatest quarterback coaches of all time. Like, he just knows how to get the best out of his quarterbacks and like build the team around them, mainly because it plays a very pass oriented offense.
Yeah.
And I don't know who he'd get, if I'm being honest, because I mean, he's already won a Super Bowl and like is playing on an amazing team that has a lot of their best key players locked up for a good amount of time, and their coach locked up for a good amount of time. But yeah, I think he's definitely deserving of it. But go ahead. Yeah.
No, yeah, like he's like just about there. Like, he's gonna be, the next, of our generation, like Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, ultimate quarterback.
There's a third name on there, Richard. I know you're not saying it, but there's a third name on that list. I see a lot more of this quarterback in him than any of the other two.
Tony Romo?
No. Who? No, you know who I'm talking about. 2010 Super Bowl champion. 2010 Super Bowl champion.
I was in 5th grade. I don't know if I watched a lot of. No, I don't. Year. I don't know. I don't see Aaron Rodgers. Come on.
I do.
What are you talking about?
It's how he passes the ball. He's a very run and gun quarterback. Like, he's not a Brady quarterback, because Brady's always been a pocket passer. Brady's always been a pocket passer. Mahomes is always like a run and gun quarterback that just lets his arm do its thing and just like launch the ball down the field, which is young Rodgers to a T.
I can't see. I guess I haven't seen young Rodgers, is what I'm saying.
Like, that Super Bowl winning Aaron
Rodgers right now.
Oh yeah, there's a very big difference. But like, that Super Bowl winning Rodgers looks a lot like Mahomes But the thing is that was Rodgers' like 5th season, like as a starter, and he was a backup for like 2 years before that. This is Mahomes' 3rd season in the league.
All right.
Yeah.
Let me look at a quick highlight reel right here from 2010.
But I think it's been funny to watch Bears fans react to this because they drafted up from their spot to pick Mitch Trubisky as the first quarterback in the draft, in a quarterback draft that had Patrick Mahomes and Deshaun Watson in it.
That feels bad. Bad news, Bears.
It would normally, but it's the Bears, so it's funny.
Yeah. I'm kind of starting to feel bad for them. As much as I hate them, I just I feel bad because they lose so much.
See, I mean, I used to. Then they started talking smack that one season they were good. And they're like, "Oh, we're going to win the Super Bowl. The NFC North is ours for years to come now." Then they went 10-6 that year and won the NFC North once, and then lost in classic Bears fashion and haven't done anything since. So
I guess, I mean, when it's in the middle of the season, I want them to lose.
Well, obviously.
But off season right now, I just kind of feel bad.
Just like when it's the middle of the season, I want Matt Patricia to lose. Now, I love the guy. He's great.
But, okay, I kind of see what you're talking about with Patrick Mahomes and Aaron Rodgers here. But I think Aaron Rodgers has never been as nimble as Patrick Mahomes is.
Well, yeah. So I'm not saying that it's an exact comparison. I'm just saying, Rodgers was still a mobile quarterback, and for a couple of years he was our leading rusher, which isn't saying much. But what I'm getting at is he's Rodgers-esque, but better. And I'll admit that as a diehard Aaron Rodgers fan. I love the Packers. I love Aaron Rodgers. Mahomes is better and will be better.
Well, cut him some slack here. He's in a different zone of a quarterback than Aaron Rodgers is because he's able to move around and he can throw those balls and his throwing style too.
Well, I'm just saying if we compare their Super Bowl winning seasons, right? I'm just saying Rodgers was a mobile quarterback. He was a very mobile quarterback. And that's why he was so good, is because he could get out of the pocket, move around, and there was that threat of the run. Now he's not so much. Now he's getting older. He's staying in the pocket more. He's throwing a lot of more worse passes. I think Rodgers 2 years ago, before that, Rodgers had thrown I want to say some absurd amount of passes without giving up an interception. And that's the tail end of his career. What I'm getting at is if you take Rodgers' first MVP, which was I think the year before the Super Bowl, and then you take Mahomes' first MVP, which is the year before his Super Bowl, there's a lot of similarities there. They're both lobbing the ball down the field to their wide receivers, throwing passes that not many other people would think about throwing. Remember last year when he threw that no-look pass?
No, not.
Yeah, he threw a pass where he just kind of looked away from the player and threw the ball, and it was and they caught it. Just things like that where it's Rodgers in his prime. I'm not saying he's a direct comparison to Aaron Rodgers. I think there's a lot of Peyton Manning in him too. I think Peyton Manning was a big precursor to Rodgers and Mahomes and Lamar Jackson of the world, and Deshaun Watson and Cam, that more gunslinger quarterback where he's not in the pocket all the time, but also he's not afraid to just chuck the ball down the field and know his receivers are there. That's why Peyton was so good, is because he would get the ball, had arguably probably the best wide receiver duo in NFL history.
Yeah.
And just knew if I throw the ball 50 yards down the field, to a specific spot, my wide receiver is going to be there. Yeah. All three of them know that. And they knew that when they were in their primes. So I'm just saying I just personally don't think Brady is a good comparison for Mahomes.
No, I wasn't trying to compare them.
No, I know what you're getting at.
Level.
Yeah.
Because there are greats, basically.
I do agree that Brady is one of the best quarterbacks we've seen. Do I think he would have done as well in any other coaching system? No. I firmly believe that Bill Belichick is a major reason why they won those rings. Because if you look at a lot of Brady film, it's a lot of short passes, like a lot of passes that are drawn out in the playbook.
Yeah.
And he's like I said, he really hasn't ever been a mobile quarterback. Like Brady's always been the kind of guy. Like he's the reason the tuck rule is a thing, is because he was stuck in the pocket. But he's never really been a mobile quarterback, and that's why I think Mahomes is so interesting. Is because Brady is he's been the best draft steal of all time. He always will be. Like I'm not arguing that. He's also has one of the best pocket presences of all time because he's not a mobile quarterback. And what I'm saying is that Mahomes is taking parts of all three of those greats. Like these past 10 to 15 years, we've had some of the best quarterback play the NFL has ever seen. Like we've had Manning, we've had Brady, we've had prime Drew Brees. We'll get into that. We've had Matt Stafford. Like Matt Stafford is statistically one of the best quarterbacks the NFL has ever seen.
Yeah, I wanted to kind of touch on that there. You were describing or doing your comparison here of Patrick Mahomes and Aaron Rodgers. And what you were describing sounds more like, I would say Patrick Mahomes is more like Matt Stafford with an all-around team. Because
with a good team and a good coach,
Matt Stafford is a great quarterback. He just has not had.
Yeah, no, I'm not.
He's not had the offensive line. I'm not
disagreeing with that at all.
Oh, well, thank you, because a lot of people would.
Yeah. No, I full-heartedly agree that Matthew Stafford is and will be and should be in the Hall of Fame, and is a Hall of Fame caliber quarterback.
Right. Yeah. He's never had a good offensive line, and he's never had the defense to back him up on the other side of the ball.
Yeah.
So,
and his coaching, like if we're being honest, Matt Patricia's the best coach he's ever
had. I think he's probably one of the best team coaches, just because he's a defensive guy.
Well, yeah, but I mean, just like looking at how the team has performed under Patricia compared to other coaches that have been on the head coaches. I'm just talking head coaches that have been with the Lions. Like they haven't had the best record, but there's a lot of promise in that team.
Right. Yeah.
Like, I'll even say it. Like the Lions will be good. It might not be with Stafford, which is tough luck, but the Lions are going to be good in the next couple of years.
Yeah, I totally agree. But the way Patrick Mahomes throws, so I don't know if you've ever seen, but whenever the Lions play, they always talk about how he grew up with a Major League Baseball player in Texas, and he played baseball, and they both played football together. But, that's like Patrick Mahomes has his throwing style from pitching.
Yeah.
And like Matt Stafford and him, their throws are very identical, and they're both pretty accurate. Yeah. In their throwing.
And I agree with you on that. I think the thing that I was getting at with the Rodgers comparison is Stafford's good and can throw the ball down the field, but with Rodgers and Mahomes, it's honestly, there's some times when you don't know where the ball's going. Like with some of those quarterbacks, like with Brady, it's more often than not, it's going to be a little 7-yard check down or something like that, like crossing runners in one of those two. And
right.
That's part of McCarthy's West Coast offense, and that's kind of what Andy Reid runs too, is you don't know where the ball's going. It could go to that 5-yard out route, or it could go to Tyreek Hill running down the field at lightning fast speed and hit him on a dime square. And that was Rodgers. It could go Jermichael Finley, that's what his name is, on a little crossing route 10 yards down the field. Or it could go to Greg Jennings or Randall Cobb moving down the field and hitting this little dime spot. So that's what I was getting at. And I do agree with you that Mahomes and Stafford's throwing style and their accuracy is really good. And like I said, I think Mahomes is like a conglomeration of some of the best quarterback play that we've had in the past like 10 to 15 years.
Yeah. And I mean, I would even, take a step further and say the mobility is similar. Because if you go back and look at like 2011 Stafford, he was all over the place. I think he was also like leading rusher quite a few games too. But the Lions also haven't had a decent rushing since what, Reggie Bush?
Like almost on one leg Reggie Bush.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I think Stafford and Rodgers are extremely comparable. Because, like, honestly, if you take either of those two and flip them, they'd have the same career as the other.
Yeah, totally.
Like, if you put Stafford on a like prime of Mike McCarthy team, like really good defense, one of the most underrated passing receiver cores ever.
Definitely.
In my opinion, that's kind of biased, but also like I still can't get past the fact that people don't give that like early 2010s passing core credit. Like Donald Driver, Greg Jennings, Jermichael Finley, Randall Cobb, Jordy Nelson, and then like James Starks out of the backfield. Like that was like, as a Packers fan, that was intimidating. Because like having those like 5 or 6 guys on your team playing every week with a perennial MVP candidate under center and a good offensive line, that was intimidating.
Yeah.
And so I think if Stafford had that, like, yes, he did have a wide receiver that is better than all of them. Like, I will admit, Calvin Johnson is one of the best wide receivers of all time.
Yeah.
And, like, he's better than all 5 of those guys individually. But, like, having that 5 or 6 guys as your options is crazy.
And a line that can block.
Yeah. Like, Brian Bulaga, Josh Sitton, what's his name? Jeff Saturday. He was on the Packers for a bit. Jeff Saturday has been one of the luckiest centers of all time because he played most of his career in Indianapolis with Peyton and then played like 4 years with Aaron Rodgers. Like all of which they were all both in their primes for most of it.
Right. Yeah.
And like, yeah, I think Mahomes, that's what I'm getting at. Is like Mahomes, like he's taking bits of Peyton. He's taking bits of Brady. He's taking bits of Rodgers. He's taking bits of Stafford. He's taking bits of Brees. He's even taking bits of all their older quarterbacks. Like there's some like Joe Montana and like a little bit of flashiness, like Joe Namath, Broadway Joe. He's got that flashiness to him.
Right.
And he's just taking like bits and pieces of those quarterbacks and perfecting it.
Yeah. We agree, and I'm sure most people agree that he deserves, that 10 years and that money. But
yeah,
it part of it is that's quite a commitment by the Chiefs by the Chiefs there.
Do you want to hear a wild stat?
What?
So I don't know if you know this, but July 1st is a national holiday. It's a Bobby Bonilla Day.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if you know what that is. Yeah. So for those of you that don't know, Bobby Bonilla was a Mets player in the late 90s, early 2000s. And he signed this insane contract. Yeah, like he was a Mets player for the early 2000s, late 90s. He signed this contract, and like it was an okay contract. It was a big contract for the time. But then like he extended it out. So what happened is like he's gonna get like it was he had $5 million left on the contract. And so what happened is like instead of paying Bonilla $5.9 million at the time, like just buying it out in 2000 and then just leaving it, they would pay him payments so the payments that they would pay plus 8% interest every year. So basically they started in 2011 making those payments. And by the time Patrick Mahomes' contract is up, the Mets will still be paying Bobby Bonilla $1.2 million.
Jeez. Yeah.
Yes.
What a deal.
Yeah, I remember I got to look up what the year it was supposed to be done. Yep, it expires in 2035. So they'll be paying Bobby Bonilla 5 years after Mahomes' contract is up.
Wow.
Yeah.
How did he manage to get that? How did they let that happen?
Because the Mets are historically one of the worst run organizations in organized sports. Nick, the Mets and basically most of the New York teams are very bad in their front offices. Like, there's a reason a lot of players don't want to play for the Knicks. There's a reason a lot of players don't want to go to the Mets. Is like their front offices aren't doing much to like compete.
ESPN says Bonilla's agent was in the insurance business at the time, or just getting out. So he was able to think up a little deal there and get it through.
According to Wikipedia, so Bonilla's original contract was $5.9 million. But with the interest, Bonilla will have been paid $29.8 million for a season he never played in the MLB. He never played for the Mets.
Wow.
Yeah.
Jeez.
So I don't have any other fun sports memories to talk about.
Sports memories? I thought we were just talking about what's going on now.
They're just sports going on in sports. Yeah, not really memories, but stuff going on in sports.
I saw the other day, I think it was yesterday, like 9 NHL players just tested positive for coronavirus.
Yeah, like there's been an entire MLS team that dropped out of their tournament because they've had so many cases.
Wow. I don't know NHL is another sport that I'd be like willing to watch if it's on.
Yeah. I love watching hockey.
But I don't know when their comeback, I doubt they have a comeback plan right now, because when does their season start? I know they play 1,000 games.
It's a long season. Yeah. It's a really long season.
Like they play like 3 in the same town in a row or something like that.
I think what happened with hockey, don't quote me on this. I think what happened is that they just kind of ditched this season. Like there aren't any winners or anything. They're just kind of cutting this season, and then they're just going to start with the next one because the time frame would have been too close together to restart.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think all sports should really just do that, because I don't know. I guess I'm optimistic about this whole thing that like there's a lot of guesses saying we'll get a vaccine in January, and it's like,
yeah,
let's kind of just sit tight, get comfortable and come back later.
Yeah.
But
I mean, it is nice. Like, I understand that a lot of players don't want to do it just for their own reasons, which is perfectly understandable. Like, they're humans at the end of the day. They're making a ton of money, at least most of them.
Yeah.
But I do understand that. And like, I think the biggest thing for me is like, it just kind of takes people's minds off things. I think that's the biggest reason I want sports to come back, is like, yeah, it's important to have, like, keep an eye on everything that's going on. But like, if that's all you focus on, and that's all there is, like going on like your Twitter feed or Instagram or whatever social media, or like even in the news, then you're just going to get burned out.
Right.
So I think it's important to have that kind of balance. And I think that's why it's important for at least sports to come back in some fashion.
Yeah. I'm just saying, like, for the well-being of the large amount of people that have to work in that environment.
Yeah.
Just because there's so much staffing that's like necessary for a game to go on, and there's not necessarily that ability to separate like a lot of places have to do. It's just,
yeah,
it's very difficult. And I mean, if we got individual sports going like golf, I mean, don't get me wrong, there's still a lot of people that have to work, but there's a lot more spacing possible.
Yeah.
You want to take another break?
Yeah. All right, so we're back. Richard and I are going to be talking about just our personal favorite sports memory. It has to be something that we were alive to see, we witnessed either in person or like live on TV or something. So do you want to go first, Richard?
Sure. So like you kind of talked about, and as a Lions fan, Megatron is my dog. Whom I personally met at a football camp.
Nice.
Little side story. Little side story here. So my high school in Detroit, Calvin Johnson's cousin went to the high school. He was a senior and I was a freshman. So like I don't know if there was any like behind the scenes kind of stuff, but basically because his cousin went there, he started doing a football camp in the summer, or no, in April. His so he does the Calvin Johnson Catching Dreams camp, football camp. He does it in Georgia, and he started doing it in Detroit. At this high school. So I met him and then a couple other players on the Lions team. That was sweet. He's a tall guy.
Yeah, he seems like a very tall and intimidating person.
He's not as muscular as he looks on the TV, so a little underwhelming in that aspect, but also when I met him, so like I moved after that.
Yeah.
And I didn't get to like go back to camps after that because there was like Ezekiel Ansah.
Yeah.
At other like the next year or something like that. I was so sad. But yeah, he was recovering from an ankle injury, so he wouldn't race me. I tried. Yeah, this little right tackle, offensive right tackle,
challenging Calvin Johnson to a foot race.
Oh, I also met AJ Green. He was also there.
Ooh.
Not a Lions player.
Yeah, but also a fantastic wide receiver.
Yeah. I don't know if I challenged him to a race either. I definitely should have if I didn't. Anyway.
Yeah, I think AJ Green is vastly faster than Calvin Johnson, so that would have gone equally as poor for you.
But anyway, favorite memory is Calvin Johnson. You know what? We should also do favorite, like, most disappointing play in sports, because I also have one for that.
I think I might know what that one is.
I think you might.
All right.
My favorite memory, I was watching, so this was, I don't remember what year it was, but it was probably like that 2011, somewhere in there, like one of those seasons. Calvin Johnson, I don't remember what was going on in the game, but I just like remember watching this and was like amazed because so Calvin Johnson went up for this, out of reach for any other wide receiver catch like he does for most passes thrown to him. And he was surrounded by 3 Cardinals defensive backs and caught the ball for a touchdown. Like, I mean, he did the same thing a couple of years earlier, and I didn't see this one, like, watching NFL or watching the game. He did the same thing against the Bengals, surrounded by 3 defenders and caught the football.
Wow.
And it's just like they're identical too, which is, maybe this was a play or something.
It probably was. I mean, more often than not, you're going to want to triple team the guy that's up there in like best wide receiver of all time category.
Yeah, definitely. But that was just so amazing, and just when the Lions had Calvin Johnson and Golden Tate, it was just, that was a really good duo.
Yeah.
Sad. Also, Calvin Johnson talking smack about the Lions after he retired was
a little rough to
frustrating.
Hear.
Yeah, as a fan.
I'm trying to think, because there's been a lot of them that I've watched live, like not at the arena, but like on TV.
Oh, yeah, that was on TV.
Yeah. Let's see. There was that 13-month span where Aaron Rodgers threw 3 Hail Marys. That was good. There was last year's Champions League in soccer. They're the semifinals, both of them, both last legs. Both teams came back from pretty big deficits to win, one of which was my team, which was good. But I'm going to have to go with one of, if not the most iconic basketball play of all time. The 2016 NBA Finals, Game 7, Cavs Warriors. Cleveland is trying to come back from a 3-1 deficit. Trying to be the first team to ever do that. I was watching the game with my family. Didn't really care who won because, like, I've always liked the shooting side of the Warriors. Like, I like watching Steph and Clay play, but also like, I love watching LeBron. And Kyrie's great, or at least was. He's kind of okay now. He's still good, but like, it was like the game was like going on and on. And, like, the whole last quarter was just tiring to watch. And like the last like 2 minutes, like everything just popped off. Like there was the one point where like there was a bunch of fouls and whatnot. But like the most iconic play was Cavs give up the ball on offense. Iguodala gets the ball and is like driving to do a layup. And LeBron is the master of chase down blocks, like especially on fast breaks, like comes from the other half of the court. Like he's running across the court to go at him. Gets up, traps Iguodala's layup against the glass. And like he was prepared for like either an under the basket or on the one side. Like traps it against the glass, gets the ball, passes it to his team. His team scores, they go up, they win the game and defeat a 73-win season, 73-win Warriors team, and become the first team in NBA history to come back from a 3-1 deficit in the finals.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's sports history right there.
Yeah. It's still like it's the best defensive play the NBA has ever seen, and it might be the best play the NBA has ever seen. Because like
wow,
what it was, how it happened, what was going on, like what was at stake is just all of that combined into an amazing chase down block.
Wow. Yeah. Crazy.
Yeah.
Some of the best players too. Like wow.
Yeah. All right, let's get away from the fun side of things. I think we'll keep the people semi-guessing about what yours is, so I'll go first.
All right, yeah.
Let's see. I could go with any of the multiple NFC Championship games we've lost. That'd be fun, but I'm probably going to go last year's Champions League final. Because like I said before, my team Tottenham was like playing very well that season. Like they didn't win anything, but like that's normal for Tottenham. But like they're playing the semifinals, and like the team they were playing was Ajax, who was a Dutch team, and like they went down in the semifinals 1-0. Like 1-0 was the first game, and then the second game they went down 1-0 at halftime, and had to come back and win 3-2. And we had just signed this player, and he like came back. Like came onto the pitch, was a sub, came on, scored a hat trick in the last like 20 minutes of the game, led us to the win. We then played Liverpool, who just won the league in this year in the final, and like I knew Liverpool was probably going to beat us, but I was like, hey, it's the Champions final, anything can happen. We lose 2-1 in a very poor performance on our end. That was probably one of my saddest sports moments.
Jeez, yeah. All right, so mine, sticking again with football, and also Calvin Johnson. Well, not directly.
Oh, this is not what I was thinking of. But go ahead.
So we're going to throw back here to, it was one of Calvin Johnson's last couple seasons.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So when did he retire? Like 2016?
Something like that, yeah.
It was his last season. This was his last season. I remember now. It was his last season or second to last, but I'm pretty sure it was his last season. This is twice as bad because it was my first football game that I've ever gone to, NFL game I've ever gone to.
Oh no.
Thursday night game. I think Lions had to win to go to get wild card. Sorry, I'm tearing up here. So this is the Thursday night, and I bought Like I went with my dad. At Ford Field, my dad bought me a Calvin Johnson jersey at halftime.
I can't believe you were at this game.
Because they had like some sale going on because it was Thursday night.
Yeah.
And it was just to get people to buy stuff. But I got a Calvin Johnson jersey. It's one that I still wear today. And this was Packers.
Yep. This was 2015. I just looked up the Hail Marys. So it was 2015.
Yeah. So Aaron Rodgers had to drive the ball like 60 yards, 65 yards to win the game. 4 seconds on the clock, something like that. Jim Caldwell doesn't have Calvin Johnson in play for this obviously last second Hail Mary, because that's the only way for them to win. And it's obvious, four guys down the field, 5, 6 guys, whatever, down the field. Everybody's following. Aaron Rodgers, gets ready. Hit as he's throwing.
Yep.
And hit as he's throwing. Flag comes out. Missed the ball. Nobody catches it.
Yep.
It's knocked away. Penalty was called a face mask. And it's... All right, you know where I stand. It wasn't a face mask. Okay. It wasn't. Okay. He wasn't on his face.
Okay.
He wasn't on his face. So, but, they get to line up again. Calvin Johnson's still not in. Play starts. They get back. Aaron Rodgers throws the ball. It looks like, so in the dome, it looks like it's going to hit a rafter.
Yeah.
And it's like, wow, I've never thought that was possible before.
It looked like that on TV.
Didn't know that was possible. And I kid you not, you could hear everybody in the stadium go, like it was silent while the ball was in the air. Ball travels 60 whatever yards.
61. I just looked it up. 61.
61 yards. Caught by Richard Rodgers in the end zone.
Yeah.
Calvin Johnson retires.
Yeah.
That was devastating. And it just hurt more when you're leaving and it's in a dome. Packers fans are chanting "Go Pack Go," and it's echoing.
I love Packers fans.
My dad was wearing an Aaron Rodgers jersey because he's a Packers fan. I'm a Lions fan.
I like your dad.
My dad, we were sitting on the Packers sideline too.
Yeah.
My dad got a beer can thrown at him after that catch.
Yikes.
And touchdown. It was empty, but yeah.
Let me tell you, that was a fun game to watch from TV. From the nice comfort of my home.
I had a lot of fun. It was, what a game to see.
You guys are what? Up at halftime by a little bit, right? You guys were dominating the first half, and then,
it looked like it was going to be a Lions victory.
Yeah. And Aaron Rodgers pulled that late game magic that he usually has, and did Aaron Rodgers things.
That was devastating. But I also learned something else. Whenever the Lions score, I think it's whenever they score or whenever they get a touchdown. It might just be whenever they get a touchdown. They have a guy come out and sing a song. And it's hilarious. Like, look up Gridiron Heroes. That's the song the guy sings. But yeah, that was kind of funny. And I'm sure you've gone to a Packer game.
Yeah.
Have you?
Yeah.
Like the announcer always comes on even when it's a penalty, and that's another Packers first down.
Yep.
Yeah, it's
kind
of like
in Madison
that
too.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
First and 10, Wisconsin.
You know how you watch like whatever highlights? I want to watch like top 10 most defeating moments in sports.
Will that even make it? let's see. There's Armando Galarraga's almost perfect game, which is what I originally thought you were going to talk about. Detroit Lions pitcher, when they were like really good, had a perfect game going until the last out of the ninth. Like perfect games, insanely hard to get.
Yeah.
Gets the ball, fields it, throws it to their first baseman. First base umpire calls the guy safe. He was very clearly out. Like everybody on the field, except for that umpire, were like, no, he's out, he's out. The baseman was like, yeah, I was out. The ump comes out the next day, full apology to the guy. Like, hey, I messed up. Sorry about that. Can't really be much I do now, but like, sorry about that. So yeah, that's a big one.
Well, for my moment, it's a big debate whether that was a face mask or not. But like that was also going on while everybody was like, why are the refs so bad, and yelling at the NFL.
Yeah.
And then them saying, sorry, guys, sorry.
Because I do think
that there was on it.
Some sort of obstruction. Again, don't know if face mask was the right call, but I think there was some sort of obstruction enough that there should have been a flag called. I don't know if it was a face mask, but like...
It's like one of those accidental moments where you're grabbing the guy. And it was because... It's partly because, like, Rodgers went down to take the hit, you know? So, whatever. Thanks for joining us.
This has been Life According to Richard and Sam. I'm Sam.
And I'm Richard. Don't forget to follow us. Update, though. We did change our Instagram and Facebook, so it's now @to Richard and Sam, TO Richard and Sam, spelled out. On Instagram, and Life According to Richard and Sam on Facebook.
Yep.
So go ahead and follow us. Follow Sam
@Namey on Instagram, and we'll see you next time. Unless you have more to say. That was a mess up on my part. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say the same thing. We'll talk to you next week.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Shout out whatever you want, dog.
That's about it.
Don't hit me up at all.
Yeah, hit Richard up. I don't remember what his Instagram ad is.
My Twitter is public. Just follow me on Twitter.
You can follow me on Twitter too.
Chard and Morty, I think.
Yeah, I think I'm Namedoge. NEHMDOGE.
I'm @Rich and Morty on Twitter.
Yeah. So hit us up.
Follow me. Yeah.